G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Enno here. Just got done watching that Lakers game, and geez, does Westbrook do your head in? If you're a Lakers supporter watching that man, oh, good luck. Good luck. The big two couldn't do anything more. Warriors even shot pretty poorly themselves, but for us, I think it was like a negative 23. Shocking debut. They got time to figure it out, of course, but um, yeah, that's another story anyway. To the NFL. So week, what was it, 7? What is this week? So week 6 just gone. Scored 585. Moved me up about 130 spots. Sort of back in the right direction after a bit of a fall last week. So now about 250th. And I was 150th for the round. So yeah, above average round, moved me up, which was good. But yeah, it's starting to sort of get a bit. All the strategies starting to come out now with the week 7 bye this week, where there are about 6 teams missing, and about 4 of them have pretty highly owned players. So I'll run you through what my team scored. Had Hurts as the VC on the Thursday night game, Friday for us, and he, again, as classic Hurts, just had a pretty poor first half, and in the second half, you could call it junk, but it sort of wasn't. He got the team back into the game, and they had a chance to at least make a game of it, or possibly send it to overtime. But the Bucks got it done, and the Eagles actually covered 6.5 points that game, but that's a betting story. So yeah, I took the VC for the week heading to Sunday. Just you bank a 47 with what you got, but we'll get to one man later that maybe should have whacked the C on. Heineke, pretty disappointing week against the Chiefs defense, which you would think they would have lit it up a bit more. They only scored about 13 points or something, so pretty disappointing. And then maybe, I don't know if you can see it under my head, but Trevor Lawrence on the bench there scoring 31, so there's miss out on a few points there. But that's okay. Now this man, I was going to make him I do my thumbnails. I'm not very artistic, so I've just been doing a photo of the best performing player of the week. And really, I could have had this man 3 times already, probably even 4. But just unbelievable. Derek, he's just so fucked. I don't even care if I swear on YouTube. I don't get monetized. So, but man, Jesus Christ, 3 games already with 3 touchdowns, and just ridiculous. Someone posted a stat before in the Discord that he's first in, not obviously rushing yards, but he's first in yards after the contact as well. That beats everyone else's rushing yards. Like, it's just ridiculous stats. And we're only 6 games in, so he's got second highest, I think, in Sports Deck, just behind Paddy, which sort of goes to show he's been pretty poor, like not probably by his standards, and Derek's been absolutely amazing and sort of there about scoring on par. So, but it's probably to be said that Derek might have a higher ceiling if he gets a 3 or 4 touchdown game compared to a quarterback that probably needs like a 5 or 6 passing touchdown game to get sort of your 70 or 80. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't begrudge you if you just lock the captaincy option on him every week. And the funny thing is, the Chiefs do face the Titans this week, so that's going to be an absolute points fest. And I'll probably have a choice to make. Yeah, who your captain there? Zeke, good again. Just after that first game, he's just been solid every week, finding the end zone. Obviously, still splitting touches with Pollard, but it's been fine. They've been running the ball actually a lot more this year, Dallas, than previous. So that's paying dividends for him. JT brought this man in this week just with his fixture over the next few weeks, and look, it probably wasn't a required trade because I did trade out Aaron Jones, who I got in a few weeks ago for McCaffrey, but yeah, I just felt Houston they had this week, and then they've got the likes of, I think, the Jets, the Jags coming up in a few weeks. I just thought I'd jump on him, and he started to get going the week before. So yeah, happy with that. Najee, unbelievable. Top 5, top 4 running back this year, just with the amount of sheer touches that they're giving him. He's out there for 90% of the game as well. Just crazy. He's sort of one of the most ready-made running backs we've seen come in. Besides your incredible prospects like Saquon and AP and stuff like that. But he was already 23, I think, when he got drafted, and yeah, it was just obvious he was going to get the full workload, and I don't see that stopping until maybe he slows down. He's a rookie still into an NFL professional league, but maybe he slows down eventually. But just for now, hold him while he's hot and while he gets 25 touches a week. So solid there, running backs. They're pretty solid point scorers every week, and generally their floor's quite high, which is good. It's the wide receivers here where it's more fluctuates all over the place. But Tyreek got another solid week from him. He hasn't really posted many scores like this. I know that's what his average is, about 36, 37, but it's either been 60 or it's been 10. So, good to just get a solid week from him. There was worries at halftime. He was injured and he wasn't coming back, which I needed him to for a multi, which he did. Then he caught about 4 balls in a row in the third quarter, and then finished it off with a touchdown, which was really good to see. And then they get the Titans this week, so look out. Devontae, plenty of catches, plenty of yards, just didn't find the end zone, which again is always going to make your score look worse than what your actual performance was. So again, he's fine. It's going to come. It's just I think Aaron Jones scored, Lazard, and then even Rodgers ran one in himself. So not much you can do about that. He'll find the end zone from here. But this really, like I was saying, sort of preseason is what you expect from him, sort of as his floor. And it wasn't like a massive scoring game. So look, he'll get there, and he'll have some huge games, which boosts his average up. Cup, I mean, the Rams run over the next bit, and I mean, I sort of saw this coming. Probably most people did against the Giants, who are just depleted in all fronts now, all across the board. I mean, I said they'd put 50 on us, which they didn't, but they probably took the foot off the gas a little bit. So, a couple of touchdowns, back on board with him and Stafford after a couple of just average weeks. So, their run coming up is incredible. So, looking forward to having him for the next few weeks. And then Terry, much like Heineke, they just couldn't connect on the day, which against the Chiefs defense has been leaking. It's a bit disappointing. So, just a down week. Don't really have the luxury or, I could trade him this week, but it's not really a priority for me. So we'll hold Terry for a little bit longer and just hope he can pull a big performance in the next couple of weeks while we do. Stephon Diggs, I mean, it really is about time he puts up sort of a score like this. Pardon me, just been struggling to find the end zone just because everyone else is. Dawson Knox and even, Moss and running backs just, falling into the end zone because they get down to the 1 or 2 yard line. So there's not much you can do. But finally found the end zone and could have had another as well if Allen threw a bit of a better ball towards him. I think in the first half. But it's coming with him. They have the bye this week, which is annoying. But after that, their draw really opens up. So he'll be a hold for me. And then Devonta Smith, this is probably the one position in my whole team that's just a bit annoying. The fact that he, for cash reasons, I can't remember what exactly it was, but I needed like 400k to get what starting team I wanted with or what I went with, so I couldn't get Chase. So I went with him, and it's sort of not that because I started 6 primo wide receivers, not that I probably would have fielded Chase much, but if you sort of went 5 and then had Chase at the 6 spot, it's really paid off. Chase has pretty much gone 20 plus every week. So that's probably the one spot in my team that's hurt the first 6 weeks, but that's fine. And I'll look to I got Cordell to come back on, but he'll be for Diggs, and then in a couple of weeks, once we make a few upgrades, I'll have the full 6 primos there again, along with running backs and another quarterback, which we'll get to. So on the bench, nothing. Elijah Moore, bit of a just dead pick. Unfortunately, got concussed, I think, in week 2, and he just sort of hasn't come back and done anything since. And Zach Wilson can't really do anything on that team, but that's all right. It's just a dead spot on the team. Not going to bother trading there. Kelsey and Hawkinson just solid weeks. Yeah, I don't think Kelsey found the end zone either from memory, but yeah, they both just got a fair few targets and yards. So take 20s from the tight ends. The position's really scarce this year. It's probably the worst it's been in a while after 6 weeks. Kelsey the still clear number one, but I think Mark Andrews after that huge game 2 weeks ago is up at number two, but Waller's dropped off a bit. Kittle obviously injured. Hawkinson was only good the first 2 weeks and has struggled since. Dawson Knox, I guess, has just had a touchdown every week until this week, and he's now broken his hand. So yeah, it's just not much going on there. There never really is, but there's at least sort of three guys usually that are up there. But really, it's just Kelsey and the rest just lumped into one, just big mess and not much going on. We get Pitts we get Pitts back this week, so maybe by matchup I field him over Hawkinson at stages, but yeah, we'll see. And then the kicker Evan got a 20+ game, which is good from him. And the other trade in down the bottom, the Rams, I brought them in with JT. Just traded the Niners defense out. Had mil to spare. That's all it took. So yeah, good. I thought it was a good idea. The Rams, yeah, they got the Giants, who have no one on offense anymore and are struggling. So yeah, they got 30, and then they have really easy matchups coming up. So yeah, was happy with that, and we'll field them for the next few weeks. And I think that the break even's still -2. If anyone's looking to bring him in, so you can still get them this week. All right, so week 7 buy players. I've sort of did the filters and sorted it out to where these are the most owned players who have the buy. So Najee, but clearing away the number one just because he was rookie price and he's already made us 7 mil as it says. Much like Trevor, the rookie and rookie price has made us about 5. Zeke, great performer after week 1. Diggs started working his way into it. Eckler was awesome for a few weeks there. Chargers just dropped a stinker on the weekend, which has really skyrocketed his break even. CD, huge game on the weekend. Game-winning touchdown in overtime, and that was a crazy game. If you hadn't seen that, but started with CD, and then his first 2 weeks were really good. Then obviously Cup was the one that was going off for longer. So I sort of switched to him. And then look, Cup died off a bit, but CD also sort of stayed down, and then they both sort of exploded this week. But look, if you started both, you'd be probably happy till now. They're both averaging. CD is 30, and Cup's crazy, like 40 odd. But CD unfortunately got the bye this week, but he's really kickstarted some cash gen again, which I'll get to in a few slides. But next one, Mike Williams. A lot of people sort of jumped on him, it seems, but he's really just that hit or miss type. I was saying, like, he struggles to stay healthy, and there was an injury concern with him heading into this week, and maybe that's why he was poor. But the Chargers didn't score many points at all, so it probably attributes to that, of course. But he does rely on touchdowns really as well. So yeah, he's not someone I'll be looking at. He's been really good through the first 6 weeks, but I think if you had him, it's tough because he whatever injury he had, he should be able to heal it a bit over the week off. But probably someone I'd move on if you had him. Dalvin Cook, again, just a pretty poor start to the year. Banged up. Madison's played a couple of games, and I don't envisage that many people have him still. But if you did, I'd be moving off. And then the bottom 3 there, Amari, don't think many would have. He had a good first 2 weeks, but since then not much. Dawson Knox, maybe some have jumped on that, but he's now out with a broken hand, which he might get back for week 8, but I doubt it. And then JJ, who's just been solid all year, mostly 20s to 30s, and what's he averaging, about 29. So they're the most owned guys that will miss this week. And then here's a few of them and what their sort of break evens are. So Zeke's 31. Eccles is 43 after that poor game has shot up, and that 14 is going to be in his cycle for a couple of weeks. So it's only going to stay sort of high. Cooks, he's barely played. much over the last few weeks, and yeah, he's just gone quite high, but it was 80, I think, last week, so it's coming down slightly. And then Najee just been unbelievable, and he's just still very low at 2. So if I was to trade any, if you had Cook, he'd be number 1. If you had Eckler, I think he'd be the next one. And then if you could possibly hold on to Zeke and Najee, I think they're clear sort of top guys. And I don't mind their schedules after the bye coming up, so I would hold on to them. I think Najee I'd just 100% hold on to because he's sort of safe here with his price and what he's getting 90% snaps and 25 touches a week. I just think it's so safe to hold on to a guy like that until, like I said, maybe he falls off eventually and then we can trade him then. But until that happens, he's the one I want to hold on to. And then it's sort of a choice if you had Zeke and Eckler. But yeah, I've only got the left 2. So yeah, if you don't have the cover, you obviously need to cover both of them with your bench. 2 bench spots this week. And if you can't, maybe you have to trade one. And if if it was just these 2 on the left, which is my case, I'm trading Zeke. So could be a tough call, and probably look to get the one you trade out. Probably look to get back in at a later stage. It's just you got to sort of play the buys, and we do have the trades to do it. So that's what I think with the running backs. Now the big wide receivers that we just spoke about before, Diggs, sort of getting his break even down again. Sort of it was a bit high last week, but back to 30 after that good game. Mike Williams is 18. Yeah, I'll just get rid of him. If you want a point of difference, I guess you can hold on, but I just see too many concerns with me, especially with his injury history. It's just, yeah. I know he's been awesome, but you sort of maybe jumped on, made the cash out of him, and can probably get out now. But he's just so boom or bust. It just would annoy me because he's either posting 50 or he's posting like 7, like he did on the weekend. But yeah, that's probably my opinion. And CD just come back into the frame with the big game, and now his break even is negative 23. So he's the safest sort of to hold on to because he's gonna hold price after the buy. But yeah, so Diggs for me is just not getting rid of that man. Tied to Josh Allen, one of the best offenses in the league. He's going to explode. And I think they got after the bye. It was just the Titans. Then obviously they've got Jacksonville, I think, and then the Jets as well. I think. Let me just double check while I'm here. No, it's the Dolphins first, then the Jags and the Jets, and then even the Colts after that, whose secondary isn't the best. So yeah, really good run, and I think the Bills will put up heaps of points during that time. And then lastly, just some targets that we're looking to bring in over the next week and what I think. So on the left, we've got the 2 sort of quarterbacks that are downgrade options at the moment. Funnily enough, it's none of the rookies that we thought might be at the start of the year, like Justin Fields, who is playing at the moment, but he's not really doing much. Then Trey Lance, who hurt himself, and I think Jimmy G is going to come back and start this week after their bye. And yeah, well, the other ones we sort of already either have Mac or Wilson, who hasn't been great, but yeah, Trev, who most of us I think have. So there's really no one else. And I know Davis Mills who obviously has been starting for Tyrod in the meantime, has probably had one good game, and the rest just pretty poor. And I think out of these 2 on the left, I would want Tyrod. Obviously, the break evens, being negative 53 to Gino's 16 or negative 16 helps because it's obviously going to make more. But I just even then, once Tyrod's back, I still like him more than Gino. We sort of saw how Gino struggled on the weekend. I mean, it was 2 pretty poor quarterbacks playing, but he just I don't like what I see from Gino. The picture that I got probably reflects how if you get him is probably how you're going to feel watching him. But look, they're probably going to be bench guys. Really, I would doubt people or hope people wouldn't need to play them if they got them in. But as downgrade options and to make us more cash, I'll prefer Tyrod for sure. And then on the right, and sorry, quickly on the quarterbacks, there's only about a few 100,000 difference in price. I think Tyrod's 3.5 mil and Gino's 2.8, something like that. So yeah, I mean, I guess if price comes into it and you really are short or something, go Gino. But yeah, I'd prefer Tyrod. Price matters a bit more to these guys on the right. Darrell Henderson for the Rams. had a really good game in the weekend. I would have been nice to get him this week, but I went with JT instead. They both scored pretty well. Anyway, but yeah, Darrell's still pretty cheap, still under 10 mil, I think, and JT sort of shot up because he's had a couple good weeks. He's about 12. But yeah, either of these guys, I'd be fine bringing in. Yeah, it's sort of your choice. Or if you had to even trade 2 running backs this week, say you had a few of the guys on the page before they got the buy, I'd be fine in just going 2 of those straight to these 2 guys, and that'd be fine for me. JT could almost be a long-term holder. Darrell I sort of see as a maybe mid-term, with their good fixture, and then sort of flip him back to a big primo once he, hopefully tops out at 12 mil or something like that. But yeah, those 2 I have no problem with. And then if I'm choosing between Gino and Tyrod, I would say Tyrod. Which news is maybe he's back this week, which would ruin my plans because I don't want to downgrade yet. I want to do that next week. But we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, just rest one more week and he'll be back next week. All right. Now we'll just get to my team. So yeah, you already saw this. I'll set up for this week. So the disappointing thing here is I brought Gamewell in a couple of weeks ago, and he just hasn't barely touched the ball since. And it'd be nice if a week later, because I traded Tyson out. Obviously, Tyson Williams wasn't getting much either. 3 running backs scored for the Ravens on the weekend, and he wasn't one of them. So he was definitely sort of out of favour. And it was a week early to where all these, this week was crazy, the amount of backup running backs that come into the frame. There was Herbert at Chicago. He's actually like the 3rd backup. Chuba's back in the frame at the Panthers because CMC's out for another 3 weeks, which is great. Would have been great to know that a couple of weeks ago. Then Darrell Williams, obviously, at the Chiefs. CEH is out for a bit of time with a knee. And then even Booker at the Giants, who's probably at the bottom of that list because I think Sack will be back soon. But just timing was poor. Would have loved to be Gamewell to be any of those, which I still could do this week. But I think I prefer to trade a primo and get a primo score as opposed to using a trade on Gamewell to a cheaper rookie guy, which is my thinking. So yeah, I'll keep. Obviously, Diggs has to go to the bench, and Cordell will be back. Who I sort of see Cordell as a bit of just a money maker as well. I would eventually want to flip him, I think, as well. But we'll see. He's been amazing so far, and the rest is fine. That loophole's fine. So the question is, Najee or Zeke? And for me, I want to keep Najee, I think, and I want to trade Zeke. And then what I can do is get Darrell Henderson, who's the one I don't have. And with their good running coming up, like I said before, it was obviously the Giants this week, but then it's Detroit, then Houston, and even Tennessee, who aren't great. It's just a great run for them. So he's one I want to jump on, and then the other trade I need to get rid of Heineke. So if you got Heineke, his break even shot up after that pretty average game, 47. It's not like it's unachievable. It's just I think it's time to go. As AFTV would say, it's time to go, Heineke. So then it just comes down to who do I want to get in, and it's Josh Allen would be great if he wasn't on the bye with their great run coming up, but for me it's got to be either Mahomes or Kyler. So you save a couple mil with Kyler. He looked pretty good on the weekend, and they do get Houston this week, which is great. Then the Packers and the Niners. Just pretty average defenses there, nothing special, nothing poor. And then there's Patty, who costs 18.5, but they get Tennessee, they get the Giants, who again, no one can tell you they're more shit than I can. Packers, Raiders, Dallas, even so, I think it's just got to be Patty. VC in this week against Tennessee, hopefully get a big score. And I know he's the most owned, so it's sort of hard. You're not going to catch up much ground with him over someone else. But I think he's just a safe play. And Kyler did have that little niggle with the shoulder, which can worry about and can reappear down the track. So I just think Patty, like I said at the start, he's played it pretty average by his standards, and he's still the number one scorer. So we stick with that, and then we just VC him on the weekend because he plays at the early window. And then Hertz plays later, so probably the two I'd go to. Could maybe even go a Ram against a Detroit, possibly. And if you did have Kyler against Houston later on, would be the go. That's how I'll set up. What am I down to? 15 trades now. Still got 4 mil in the bank, so I can look how I'll line up after the bye. Diggs will be back on. It really, if Hertz is a bit of a keeper, then you can really just see the 15 trades for the rest of the year just manoeuvring primos. Terry might have to go down the line. His break-even's up at 60 now, which is annoying because I think he's not in my priority to trade, but he's going to drop cash, of course. But maybe I'll use some of that cash to swap him to another wide receiver, and then just play the buys. Because the thing is, I don't think major players like Derek and stuff have the buy to maybe round 12 or something. So it's this massive buy now, and then it's a couple of irrelevant teams with buys in the next few weeks. You might have a few of the guys, but I already looked and I don't think I have many in the short term. So just play it by ear. Just check the buys, make sure you're not going to be left out on 1 week, because I think last year I had to cop a donut because I didn't plan ahead. That's it. I'll quickly show you the main league. So cop the first L on the weekend. And I'm not mad about it because this man had Derrick Henry go for another 35. I think Fournette, 30 on the Thursday night game. Stafford, a couple of my guys just didn't show up. Robbie Woods, Eckler, the Chargers game, real poor. And then even Lamar to actually win that game 34-6 and only score 13 points is just not going to cut it, unfortunately. So we're both 5-1. The ladder looks like that, just at the top. Us two, and then 4-2, and then half the league is 3-3. So it's pretty tight. That's it from me. I will probably do an SD video on the NBA on Sunday night, possibly after week 1. See how we went. See what the trades are. As always, message me on Twitter. Whatever you got to do. If you want to contact and join the Discord as well if you still haven't, because even it's footy off season, and even in George's Discord we're still talking all other sports and stuff, other fantasy stuff, EPL, FPL, all that sort of crap. So give it a join and get involved. All right, thanks guys.